Hi, I'm Barry Spielman, Product Marketing Director for Cybersecurity at Allot. And I'm very pleased to have with me Daniel Gomez, Director Product Owner for Cybersecurity here at Allot with me. And thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Excellent. Here in Spain especially, it's very exciting, especially for me too.
Rainy day, but...
Rainy, but still nice. Okay, so we're here to talk about 30.1, new release. It's finally here. So can you give me a brief overview of the release and what's the difference from the last one?
So the main reason why we have released this new version is because we have integrated HomeSecure as part of the security offering that we have in Allot Secure. This is giving us the new capabilities to complete our 360 offering to include not only the network and the endpoint, but also the router to our security solution. Not only that, but we have also added more capabilities in the user interface where we have updated the look and feel completely to make it easier for the end user, provide any feature so that any customer without any knowledge about security can manage the solution. And not only that, we have added some other features such as performance improvements, multi-language support, and a bunch of new security features that are available in this release.
And I had a chance to actually see those new features on the GUI at MWC, and I got to say it was very cool. So you mentioned HomeSecure. So tell me a little bit about that solution. Go into a little bit more details.
So HomeSecure is installed in the router itself. Since it is in the router, it has visibility about what's happening inside the LAN of the home or the business.
Behind the router.
Yes. And in that sense, it is able to provide security services customized per device that is behind the router.
Yeah.
In that sense, we can provide security services such as malware detection, phishing, anti-botnet, these kind of things. But not only that, it can also prevent from brute force attack, accessing some IoT devices to the internet, for instance. And if we go to the content filtering, it can also support customized services to block devices per categories or safe search and these kind of things. So the router secure this HomeSecure is providing a solution which is very extensive for the business and for home. Since it is installed in the router, you don't need to install anything in the devices. So it is completely transparent to the end user that doesn't need to go each device installing an application to support this.
Yeah, you focus on the devices. Maybe you just take one step further. What about the router? How is the router protected?
Yeah, so in addition to that, we were talking about the devices, that we are protecting the devices, but the router is also protected. Because, for instance, we can have, there is a configuration in the router which is related to, this is a bit technical, related to the DNS. And an attacker could change the DNS configuration of the router. And in that sense, whenever you are going to a bank, you may think that you are going to that bank, but the IP address that you are accessing to is not the real IP address of the bank because the attacker has changed the DNS server of the router.
Yeah.
So you are accessing to a fake bank and all your data could be visible to an attacker. In order to prevent that kind of attacks, which are called pharming, the router, we can define the DNS servers that can be installed in the router itself. In this sense, if an attacker is trying to change the DNS servers from the router, the router will identify that change, will send an alert to the account manager saying, hey, someone is trying to change the DNS server from the router, and will enforce the original DNS server so that the user will be accessing the bank safely to the real IP address and not to this fake IP address. In addition to that, it is possible to add a list of IP addresses
Okay.
to which the router can connect to, for instance, for updates or for whatever, so that you can limit the access in case there's an attacker reaching the router, which is trying to run some kind of command and control and accessing some kind of external networks. It is not going to be able to do that because those IPs are going to be blocked because you will have only a list of IP addresses to which the router can connect to.
Okay, so HomeSecure provides a very good solution when connected to the router. What happens if you're off net? Say it's Starbucks or at MWC like we were last week, trying to get on that internet. Good luck. Okay.
So that's a very good question. That's part of the offering that we have with this 360 degrees solution that we have in Allot Secure. So in addition to this HomeSecure solution, we have also an Endpoint Secure solution that can solve this gap that we have whenever we are not connected to the router. So you can go outside to Starbucks, McDonald's, connect to a public Wi-Fi, and you are still going to be protected if you have the endpoint installed in your device. Mm-hmm. Since we have a 360-degree solution, the same features are going to be applied to your endpoint, even though it is somehow a different product that is installed in your device.
Okay, so let's also now talk a little bit about NetworkSecure. All right, what do we need? Why do we need that for if you already have the other solutions? I'm assuming that you do, but explain.
Yeah, so every solution that we have in Allot is covering different. It has different features. It is covering a different market. And in the case of NetworkSecure, it is also a very good solution. It is true that since we are going to see the traffic behind the router, we are not going to be able to identify the devices that are in the router itself. However, it is a very good solution still for mobile devices, for instance, where they are going to be connected to the mobile network most of the time and not at home only with your Wi-Fi. And for the mobile network, we still can provide a security solution with the NetworkSecure, which is going to be able to protect these devices. In addition to that, we have additional capabilities in the NetworkSecure that are not available in all the other products. For instance, we are going to be able to analyze, download files, so that this is one thing. We are going to be able to protect against command and control networks using regular expressions, for instance, which is very useful now that the attackers are trying to avoid being blacklisted by creating new domains, for instance.
Okay, Daniel, so one last question. 30.1 just came out. Where we go from here?
So for the next releases, we will keep improving in usability, security, functionality, and performance. Usability is very important for us because bear in mind that we are providing a secure solution which is not easy to manage. So we want to provide a solution that is easy to manage so that anyone without any IT knowledge can manage the solution. Security is the key point of our solution. So we want to provide new security features such as DGA detection for command and control networks, or being able to identify malware inside a pure encrypted network. Regarding functionality, we are going to add new functionalities such as being able to identify and block applications. And regarding performance, we are going to be able to, we want to keep improving our performance because this is a key point and more now that we are moving to the 5G network. So that this is something that we are trying to do in every release for all the products that we have.
All right, good stuff. Daniel Gomez, Director Product Owner for Cybersecurity here at Allot. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Barry.